Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video where today we got the JVC MX-J900 here with us, and you know, it hasn't been taken apart in a while. Maybe I could clean it a little bit, and I figured I would take you guys with me on this adventure of taking it apart. So as you can see, we're going to take apart this speaker on video today. It's basically going to be a tutorial how to take the J900 apart because I struggled taking this thing apart when I first got it, so hope this helps someone out there. So basically there's this side panel here, and then there's also this front panel. Both of these come off, and you can get access to this front mid-range and these two tweeters, and also this side subwoofer right here. So first of all, I gotta get it off the stack because, well, I can't really do much if it's sitting up here. I will get it off of here and I'll be right back. Oh shit, I gotta grab my... Oh, they're right here. Where is my screwdriver? Did I leave it? Oh, it's right there. I'm stupid as hell. So right here, we have the JVC MX-J900 speaker on the floor. So now we can access it. Great, wonderful. So to begin taking this thing apart, you're gonna wanna take this side panel off first. If you take this off first, it won't let you because this is screwed into the front part. So you have to take this off first, and just to repeat that, you have to take the side panel off first. So there's gonna be one screw right here, one screw here, one here, and then there's two on the very back right here. It doesn't matter what order you take it out in, just unscrew them like this. And as you can see, it basically tried to attack me and fall apart before I even took it off, but yours will probably be stuck on a little more if you haven't taken this thing apart before. So you might want to take like a flathead screwdriver and just kind of put it in here and just kind of pry up like that. Just gently, and then it'll come off pretty easily. But just pull it off once you get the screws off. Get any of the screws out of the little cavities they get stuck in. And then you should have 5 screws, just like this. Put them to the side, put them next to that so you know where it goes. And now you have access to the subwoofer on the side. But we're gonna take that apart in a second here. First, we wanna get this front panel off as well. So to get this one off, you can see most JVCs have like little screws on each corner. This one does not, because they are hidden behind these little rubber pads here. I can't find the... I don't have the grills with me, but that's where the grill attaches with these little rubber feet right here. So basically, you're gonna have to take these out. Typically, I use a little screwdriver like this, the ones that typically fit to take off the front panel on the other JVCs. I just stick that in there and kind of pry it out. Be careful with them. There you go. That's what they look like. They're just little covers. That's where the front panel sits in. So just take all 4 of these out like so. Okay, so now with those out, you can see, if you look very closely, inside of these little holes, you'll see a screw at the very end of each one, and you're gonna wanna take all 4 of those out. It's just a regular Phillips head bit, so just stick it right in, and you can feel the screw. Just start unscrewing them, like so. Okay, so they might not come out fully when you unscrew them, but it shouldn't matter. This front panel should still come off. Just try to shake them out, maybe. So we got one of them out. The others might prove to be a little more difficult. Okay, well, if mine is like yours and the screws are stubborn and don't want to come out, just make sure they're all taken out. Make sure you unscrew them all the way. And then if you look on the bottom here, you'll see 2 of these like little grooves right here like that. One here, then one on the bottom. Basically, you're gonna want to grab like a flathead screwdriver like this and just kind of stick it right there and kind of pry up and away like that. Do the same on the bottom, and you'll hear it kind of come loose. And now you can flip it back up and try to get the top off as well. You might want to kind of go from the side, stick your screwdriver in the top like that, kind of pry away gently. You can see slowly we're making progress. Now you should be able to kind of slowly pry it off, just like so. And there you go. You have now taken apart the front panel of your JVC MX-J900. Now, when you take it apart, be very careful because, well, you can see the tweeters are attached right here with cables. So basically, you're going to want to detach these. There will be 2 right here per terminal. So there's one for the little piezo tweeter here on the side. So you're going to want to disconnect that and this, and then do the same for the other one. That and this one. And now you can fully disconnect your front panel, and you're free to do whatever you want with this. Of course, if you're gonna wash it or something, I'd recommend taking the tweeters out, and then you can wash it and make sure you dry it fully before putting it back on. By the way, the tweeters are literally just held on with 2 little screws right here. Just unscrew that, and then this thing will pop right off for you. The piezo though, it's glued on, so if you want to take that out, it's gonna be a little harder. You might have to like try to pry it out or something, which might damage it, so I wouldn't recommend doing that, but you know. Also, you can push out the screws if they're stubborn. You can kind of push them out from the back here. Just use like a little Phillips head screwdriver like this. There we go. So you can see the only thing holding that front panel on was just these 4 screws here. So keep that to the side. I put it in the port right there like that. And now, just like that, we have a blank canvas to work with. So you can see we have the port right here. We have the front mid-range right here. And on the side, we've got the subwoofer. So we're gonna start taking apart the subwoofer first because that is a little easier. So you're gonna wanna flip the cabinet over to the side because that makes it easier to pull it out once you unscrew it. Speaking of screws, there's gonna be 6 screws all along here. One here, 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 and here. They're all just a Phillips bit screw. So you can take your screwdriver and just start unscrewing these. Be careful with the surround. You don't wanna puncture that at all. So just be very careful and unscrew it. So you can see we have all of our 6 screws taken out. I'm just gonna move these over to the side. If this is the first time you've ever taken this speaker apart, I recommend to use like a flathead screwdriver and kind of go underneath here like this and kind of carefully kind of pry it up like that, very carefully. But then once you kind of pop it loose, you're able to kind of just twist it around a little bit, kind of lift up the part you got loose, and just like that, it'll come apart. You can see on the bottom there's gonna be 2 little terminals here. You just want to pop those off, and just like that, you have your J900 subwoofer. Here's the bottom of it, and there's all the specs for you. Let me get it better. There you go. Pause that if you need to see it. Decent 8-inch sub. I like this. The GT91 is definitely a little more beefy than this, but this one still is pretty cool. I know if you have an international version, you'll have a metal dust cap right here instead of this, but they're still basically the same subwoofer. The only difference is the metal dust cap. And taking a look inside of the enclosure, that's what we have. You can see the end of the port there, and we also got some nice little foam right here, and we got the cables right here. So yeah, there's the enclosure of the JVC MX-J900. That's the subwoofer enclosure, that is. Taking this apart also makes it easier to get access to the foam right here. If your foam is bad or something, you can get in here and kind of shove that in there, and it makes it a lot easier to replace that. By the way, I will post a link to the foam I use for the replacement in the description below, so go check that out if you need any replacement foam. So now with the subwoofer taken out, we can go on to the front here, which you can see that's where our mid-range resides. And holding this mid-range on, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. Again, they're all Phillips bit. You can just start unscrewing them. Again, be careful for the surround. Also, to make it easier on you, I recommend putting it upright like this, just so when you get it out, it doesn't like fall over or something on you. Makes it a little harder. Alright, just like that. We got the screws taken out. And now, the fun part, getting this out. So again, if you haven't ever taken this apart before, it might be a little difficult. As you can see though, there is little gaps like right here. You can kind of stick your screwdriver, your flathead screwdriver in right here and kind of pry up on that a little bit. Or even like right here kind of, you can kind of get a little grip. But just find any spot you can, kind of pry it apart slowly with a flathead. And then you can kind of use your hands with the parts you've taken apart and just kind of pry it off like that. And there we go. There is our mid-range. And again, there's going to be 2 terminals right here. Just unplug them, just the same as the subwoofer. And here is the mid-range for the J900. There is the specs of that if you need it. So now, this part here is a lot smaller than the subwoofer one, of course. You can see the port for the subwoofer goes through this enclosure into the subwoofer enclosure. So there's like a little mini enclosure right in front of the subwoofer enclosure. And we also got a little bit of foam right here, actually quite a bit of foam right here, so that's nice. Of course, we got the cables for the mid-range, and then the tweeters come through here. And yeah, that's basically the whole enclosure. This is all taken apart. So as you can see, there's the port for the subwoofer, there is our mid-range enclosure, and on the side, we got our subwoofer enclosure. So that is basically it. That is taking apart the whole thing, and doing this gives you nice, easy access to the foam if you need to replace that. And yeah. Alright, so now, just as before for the GT90 video, we're going to do a little bit of a free air on the subwoofer because we already have it out, and I know you guys like to see that, so we're going to do that right now. And I'll play some songs on it for you, and we'll see how this thing moves.
In the nighttime, trap nigga with the chickens like Popeye. Money changing and out, it never was a drop. For the opposition, he that tripping there.
Be sincere. Be sincere.
Okay, so I did a little bit of a free air on it. I also recorded a longer video with my phone for better camera quality if you want to see that. I'll upload that probably after this video sometime. But yeah, there is a free air of the subwoofer. Now I'm going to show you guys how to put it back together, which is basically what we just did, but in reverse now. So basically to start, I'm going to start by putting this mid-range back in. We're going to get this front done. So just grab the driver once again. Also, sometimes if you have a J900 and so maybe someone pushed the surround in, this surround is, you're able to just kind of come into the back here and just kind of push it back out. So like say I did this or something, you could come back and push it back out. So yeah, just also a thing in case that's happened to your J900 at all. But just put it right back where it was. Make sure the little screw holes line up. As you can see mine do, you can see the screw hole right there through there. Make sure it does that on each side. And then just put the same screws you took out back in. So that would be these four right here. I will screw them back in. And that's it. Also, make sure, of course, the JVC logo is facing down because that's the way that it is supposed to look. The JVC logo is supposed to be upright when you set it down. Alright, so next up, I'm going to lay this thing back on its side, just like that. And now we're going to grab our subwoofer right here. We're going to... Oh, wait, did I clip that mid-range back in? Oh my god. Okay guys, so when you're putting it back together, make sure you actually connect the terminals again. I totally did not forget to. No, I would never do that. I'm a professional here. And now, once you make sure you connect it, you can flip it on its side. And now we'll grab the subwoofer. And it has the same terminals, so you just want to connect those once again. Alright, just like that. You'll hear them kind of click into place. That's how you know they're in. And now, you just gotta put it back in just like that. And make sure the screw holes line up. So it might take a little bit of adjusting, but as you can see, well, barely, it's kind of dark, but you can see mine line up. All on each side, they line up. So now, once they're lined up, you can literally take the 6 screws you took out of it and screw them right back in. Alright, and just like that, we got our subwoofer back in. Make sure you tighten them down pretty well. You don't want any air leaks or anything. So now, once this is on, we're going to move back to the front. I recommend to kind of flip it upright like how we had it before. So now we got the tweeters once again on this. So to connect those, I'm going to connect these here because this tweeter is connected here. So you just connect this small one to this small one right here. As you can see, click. And we'll also do this one, click. Okay, so now they're in there. And that leaves one free terminal right there and one free one right here. So for those two, you're going to want to connect these ones. So again, the big one to the big one on here, click, and the small one to the small one right here, click. Okay, and now your tweeter is all connected, ready to go. You can carefully flip it back around, and we're gonna kind of push it into place. So now, once you have that done, we're gonna take our 4 screws that we took off, which these are gonna be the longer ones because they have to go all the way through the plastic. So you're gonna have all 4 of these, and we're just gonna screw them right back in. It helps to have a magnetic screwdriver with this because you're going to want to get it right centered in the middle because that's where the screw is. You don't want to get it lost in there. Right there, that one was perfect. And just screw it in until you feel it's tight. Right there, it doesn't turn anymore. And just repeat that same process for all the rest of them. And there we go, we got all 4 of those back in. So now your front panel should be securely attached. You can flip it back upright. And now we're going to want to put those little rubber feet back in. It doesn't matter what order, they're all the same. I'm just going to put this one here, just kind of shove it back in. There we go. So now you're good there. You got all those back in. And the last step for this is we're going to want to put the side panel back on for the subwoofer. So just flip it back to the side. Now we got our little side panel again. So as you remember, we got 1 screw right here, 1 screw right here, 1 right here, and then there's 2 in the back. There's 1 right here and 1 right here. So there should be a total of 5 screws. You're just going to want to kind of center this back into place until it lines up. Make sure all the screws line up on there. And we're going to take our screws and we're just going to screw it right back in where we got them. Again, it also helps to have a magnetic screwdriver with these because you have to get it centered. And just like that, you have fully reassembled your JVC MX-J900. just as easily as you took it apart. So again, if you do have any troubles, because mine is a little easier because I've already taken it apart before, but if you have any trouble taking it apart, you can just take a little flathead screwdriver like this and kind of carefully pry it along the edge. Be sure to do it from the bottom as well, because on the bottom, as I showed you, there's little places where you can kind of stick a flathead screwdriver in there and pry it off, and just like that, you'll be golden. The side panel tends to come off a lot easier than the front, so let's definitely start with this one first. With that is about it for the JVC MX-J900. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to start making more videos like this because I feel like people need to know how to take these apart in case they want to clean them or something. So I already did one with the GT90 like a few years ago. If you want to check that out, I'll leave it also in the description below. Also in the description, as I told you earlier, I'll leave a link to the foam I use for the port. And with that is everything. Have a good night.